Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie, and I have a new favorite judge. Her name is Judge Tammy. Judge Tammy, she doesn't take any crap. But the best part about her is just the way that she truly cares about the people that she deals with every day. And, she's in the type of court system to where it's fast paced. It's, you get 2 or 3 minutes in front of her, boom, bang, they're gone. It's just coming in and out, coming in and out. And she seems to take time with each and every person, and she truly wants to help them. And it just, okay, I just can't say enough good things about her. I really like her. I think she's a good person. I think she's a good soul. I think she's a good heart. And in today's video, we're going to watch her school one of these entitled young people. She's a little 21-year-old who thinks she knows everything and thinks that her mom can just be run over by her on a constant basis. So let's get to it.
Yes, Ms. John VA, do you and Mr. Nix have an announcement?
Mr. Nix has said that he's gonna get an attorney.
Mr. Nix? Mr. Nix?
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Nix, you're playing with me. So you fired the last attorney. Now I've given you the opportunity to have a court-appointed counsel, and you said you didn't want them. You're going to represent yourself. Now you say you want another attorney. The next time we see you, Mr. Nix, will be at a trial calendar. Now you can go forward on a jury trial by yourself, or you can go forward with the assistance of an attorney, but the court is not going to provide it because we've given you that opportunity. So if you wish to have counsel, then when your trial notice comes up, you should be ready for trial. If you fail to show up for trial, ready for trial, then you'll get a bench warrant. The bench warrant will be executed, and then you'll be jailed until such time as your case is resolved. Are we clear?
Yes.
And let me see your face, Mr. Nix, because you're playing with me, and I'm done.
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
No, sir. This has been dragging on too long. You got 2 cases to resolve. We've already done this whole dance where you hire counsel and then you wouldn't deal with him. And now I've given you the opportunity to have an attorney appointed to you. You didn't want that. And now because they won't do what you want to do, now we're not playing this game. We're going to trial. We're going to trial, sir. So the next time that you get a notice for court, that means you come in your whatever trial outfit you think is appropriate for a trial before 6 people, and then we're going to resolve it that way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Val, put him on the next available trial calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we have a plea ready for Walker. We have a plea ready for Arredondo. Ms. Walker, I need to see you. Raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right. You're represented by Mr. Justin White of the law firm Lister, Holt and Dennis. Mr. White is with you here, and you are entering a plea to case 2023 CR 02956, Charmaine Walker, for count 1 battery family violence, count 2 battery, count 3 simple battery family violence, count 4 simple battery, and count 5 trespass with damage. What is your client plea to the offenses before the court, Mr. White?
Count 1 and 5, she's pleading guilty, Your Honor. Other
All
counts
right.
to be merged.
By entering a plea of guilty to count 1 and 5, counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge with count 1. You give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge.
I don't want a trial.
I'm sorry?
I don't want a trial.
No, ma'am. You're giving up the right to have a trial in order to enter the plea.
Yes.
All right, just listen. So by entering the plea, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to present evidence and testimony, to not incriminate yourself. And ma'am, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes.
All right. Factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Also, it's my understanding that the victim, Miss Dominique Trimble, is on the line and wishes to be heard as well.
All right.
On February the 10th of 2022, an officer was dispatched to 2404 Summer Court Drive, Jonesboro, Georgia, where the incident did occur in Clayton County. At that time, the officer was responding to a domestic disturbance call. He met with the victim, Ms. Trimble, who advised, the officer initially observed that the apartment window was broken and shattered, and that he observed blood droplets leading to the front door. That time, the officer met with the victim, Ms. Trimble, who advised that her daughter, the defendant, Ms. Walker, had caused the damage. The victim explained that there had been a verbal altercation initially because her daughter had taken her car and had kept the vehicle until 4 o'clock in the morning. And then when she asked to use it again, she refused to allow her because she had kept the vehicle all night. The verbal altercation turned into a physical altercation as the defendant attempted to close the door on the victim, her mother, and then punched her mother with her right fist.
Ms. Walker, I need to see you. You stay on. This your hearing. I need to see you the whole time. In fact, lower the camera so I can see your whole face. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Janvier.
Okay. The defendant.
Are you laying down in the bed? If you don't get yourself up, I will issue a bench warrant right now.
Laying down, I'm standing up. I'm leaning
Okay.
against the mirror. If I was laying down, I would have been way more comfortable. But
well, sit down somewhere, Ms. Walker.
Okay.
So the defendant was attempting or continuing to swing punches in her mother's direction. At that point, her mother was able to restrain her to stop her from swinging, and then she called the police for assistance. The officer did observe the damage to the window and dents to the front door. Additionally, there was some damage to the victim's vehicle as well, and the officer observed, like I said, the damage to the window, the dents to the front door. Also observed large knot and small scratches on the victim's forehead, and observed the damage to the vehicle that was caused by a green broomstick. And the officer was able to observe paint scratches, dents, and scuffs that matched the green broomstick, and the victim advised that the damage was done by the defendant, Ms. Walker.
Ms. Trimble, before I speak and before they give me the recommendation, does your daughter have any documented mental health issues or behavioral health issues? You have to unmute.
I'm sorry. No, when she was in school, when she was placed on IEP in school, they had her on a behavioral plan as well. But outside of that, no.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Janvier, recommendation.
Yes, Your Honor, the state was recommending 12 months to serve 2 days, credit for the time that she's already served, the balance to be probated with a fine of $300, family violence intervention program, 40 hours of community service, and no contact with the victim, Ms. Trimble. Counts 2, 3, and 4 would merge. Count 5 would be 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 1, plus any restitution that the victim was requesting. But I believe I understand that she's not requesting any restitution.
Okay. How old is Ms. Walker? How old are you?
21.
All right, Ms. Trimble, where's Ms. Walker living now?
She lives 3 hours away from me.
Okay,
in
good.
Atlanta. I live in Pooler.
Okay.
However, yesterday when I had spoke with the victim advocate, because she had asked me if I had wanted no contact, and I told her that's not what I wanted. I wanted to have contact because she has a son that I do have a relationship with that I would like to remain in contact with. So the no contact part, I if if my opinion matters in that part, the no contact part, I didn't want. I wanted to remain. I wanted to have contact because we haven't had an incident with each other since that day.
All right, Ms. Walker, I'm gonna hear from your attorney, and then we're gonna have a conversation. Mr. White?
Okay.
Your Honor, I just ask you accept the plea, Your Honor.
Ms. Walker, you're a mom, so you're gonna experience a lot of what your mama has experienced. And if you listen to me, if you allow your child to treat you,
It's not. That's not even.
ma'am,
The stuff happened with parents.
you're here
so
for
it's
whatever
not
Ms.
I
even-
Walker.
say
I'm
you're
not
here
trying to really
for.
hear that. I'm trying to hear.
All right, I'm not accepting the
Walker.
plea. I'm not accepting the plea. She's gonna do jail time. If she takes a plea before me, she's gonna do jail time.
What do you mean? Because it's like you telling me
If
I'm a mom and it
you
didn't.
keep talking,
Ms.
you're
Walker.
gonna do more jail
I
time.
didn't even get to say my
Just
side.
listen,
It just
Charmaine.
happened.
Charmaine, ma'am, please.
Miss Val,
give me
Miss
a-
Camille, I need a contempt order, 20 days.
20
Oh my
days
God.
for what?
Charmaine, just be quiet. This is what
I'm
everybody be
trying
talking
to,
to you
like, I'm
about.
trying to-
Just be
okay.
quiet. Just listen to her and be quiet. Just be quiet. You're never going to like anything that everybody says to you. It doesn't matter.
No,
Just
she
be
grown,
quiet
Miss
and
Trouble.
listen.
See, she grown. No, see, she gonna learn because she
I
out here a
did
single
learn. I'm
mama.
not. I'm trying to tell you my side
Miss
of the
Walker,
story.
you got your 20 days.
She's
so
not
you just
asking you.
quiet
She's
for
not
me.
asking you for your side of the story. She's just asking for you to listen. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back on mute. I can't hear.
She about to get 20 days for direct contempt before the court. And this is why you're having the problems that you're having, because she thinks she's grown and that she doesn't have to be responsible to anybody. But I will tell you that anybody who attacks their mother, takes their car, and then thinks that they don't have to listen to a judge who's trying to put them on the right path, that's a problem. She ain't even good. She ain't even fit to be out here in polite society. I don't want her walking around because she's a danger to others. I don't even think she should have her child. Because if she doesn't know how to act for somebody to benefit her, she can't be a good mom. And I'm just going to say it. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, so she signed off, bench warrant, get it for me. I'm not playing today. She going to learn today. If she can't control herself enough to listen while somebody is trying to talk about the behavior that got her before a judge and 2 days in jail, that's a problem for me. Because what I believe is this little sentence here, she's going to be a problem for probation. I'm not trying to give probation officers a problem. They got enough. So she's not probation eligible. Whatever sentence y'all come up with when she comes back the next time after this bench warrant, it's not going to be probation.
I'm sorry, Jess, because I wasn't trying to get in the way of
it's not
what you were saying. I was just telling her to be. I was just trying to tell her to be quiet. I get it. I was just trying to tell her to be quiet.
As a mother, you're trying to save her from herself, but obviously that's not possible. But what she's not going to do is disrespect me or the process. It's not even about me, but it's about the fact that I sit in this role and I have a job to do, and she's not going to have a tantrum on this. She's not. No, ma'am. So there's going to be a bench warrant issued for her. She'll be picked up. You might want to put your name out there to take her child. And the next recommendation is either going to be a trial or she's going to take a plea with jail time. Because I'm not satisfied with her being on probation. I don't believe she's probation eligible. I'm not going to put that on a probation officer. Because that kind of attitude, I get paid enough to deal with it. They do not. And if I'm not going to deal with it, I'm surely not going to put it on them. No, ma'am. So after she finished having her little tantrum, then she can figure out that I'm not playing.
Your Honor, she is back on.
My phone died.
Mr. White, you may need to step into a breakout room and explain to her what she needs to do in order for me to undo what I'm about to do.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because she's been held in direct contempt of the court.
if she can, because like I said, I'm not trying to step in the way of.
Mr. White, can I go into
Uh,
a breakout room with you?
Yes.
she's gonna put you in a breakout room. I'm not trying to step in the way of.
I get it, Miss
I'm
Walker,
not.
and I get what you're doing. Please don't misunderstand. I'm a
No,
mom, so
that's
I
what I'm saying.
know.
Yeah.
But
I'm not trying to step. I'm
gotta
not trying to step
learn
in that way. You're right,
because
and I'm not trying to
yeah,
step in the way of that. I'm not trying to step in the way of that. But it's like, well, when it comes down to her, child, like I try to be
I get you.
supportive, and and
The
sometimes she
problem
can't.
is, Miss Tremble, is she's raising
Sometimes she
a
can't get
child,
it right. It
and if
is, and sometimes she can't get it right, and sometimes this happens, and
this is
she
the
has the
problem.
potential. She has the potential to get it right. And like I said, that's why I moved. That's why I had moved, 3 hours away, just so I wouldn't be the support system or the go-to support system. Because even when I do have him sometimes, like I can tell when he misses his mom. Um, I don't know. I've tried. You know what I'm saying? Like as a parent, I've tried. And
Miss
I
Tremble,
don't want to see her. I don't
she's an
want to see her,
adult now, though.
I
She's an
know.
adult, and I get everything that you're saying. But she's an adult, and she has to face some harsh consequences. The
I get it.
consequences being that if you act up like this, your child suffers. You might suffer a little
Right.
bit, but your child is going to suffer a lot. That's the point I'm trying to make to her before she popped
Right.
off. That was the
Right.
point I'm trying to make for her. It is not
And that's
about
what.
you anymore. It is about
Right.
that little boy that you brought into this world that didn't ask to be
Right.
here, but he needs stability. He needs somebody who's going to be responsible. He needs somebody who's not going to have a tantrum that's going to take them
Right.
away from him, where she has to do time while he's out there swinging in the wind. That's the point I was trying to
Right.
make to her before she
And I
lost
know
it.
that. And I know that. And that's what we try to tell her about. And it's like, and I tell her, a lot of stuff can be solved if you just shut your mouth. Because you don't have to say everything that comes to mind. There's stuff that I want to say that comes to mind, but I'm also old enough to know that not everything needs to be said. And that's what I was trying to say to her. I wasn't trying to get in the way of,
No, ma'am,
you
I
know,
get you. I
yeah,
get you.
that's all that I was trying to say to her.
You were trying to
Because
save her from herself, but I get
right,
it. But Mr.
right.
White knows me, and he knows how I work. When she comes back, she'll be right. We're gonna
So
work all of
she,
this out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Mr. Arendado's plea. When Mr. White comes back with Miss Walker, then we'll resume that one. Ms.
okay.
Bermudez, Mr. White.
Your Honor, I believe Miss Walker has something she wishes to say to you.
Ms.
I
Walker.
apologize.
Ms. Walker, you will find that life will be very, very hard when you go forward the way that you're going. I know you don't think that because you feel like you know everything at this point and you need to say everything that comes out of your mouth. But I'm a whole judge and I don't get to say everything that comes into my head. I really don't. I have to censor myself so hard sometimes it's not even funny. Because there's a time and a place to say things. And sometimes when you're so busy talking, you're going to miss that nugget of information you need to get something better for yourself because you think you know everything. But there are people who have already walked the path that you're walking, and they can give you a little bit of help or give you a shortcut, save you a little bit of hurt or time or energy, but you're not going to get that because you're so busy popping off at the mouth. First of all, it's rude. Second of all, you're raising a whole son. And if that's the way you're going to treat him, how to treat you, that's the way you're going to treat your mother, that's exactly how he's going to treat you. That is exactly what you're going to get back from him. Because that's what you're telling him. This is how we treat mamas. This is how we treat our mother. So you're going to raise a child who, instead of going out to conquer the world and getting better than you could ever imagine for him, he's going to be in an orange jumpsuit right about the time I'm ready to retire. Because you're the example he'll be following. You don't have a car. You need to use your mama's car. But instead of going at it with an approach that says, hey, mom, I appreciate you letting me use your car, a very valuable asset that if something happens to her car, she may lose her job. You could lose your job and your place to stay if you don't have a car. But instead of saying, hey, mom, thank you for letting me use your car. I'm going to need to use it again. So I put gas in it. I made sure I didn't leave any junk in it. I want to show you appreciation for letting me use something that's very important to you. But instead, you abused it the first time. And then when she says, no, you can't use it this time, then you go berserk and spend 2 days in jail, leaving your child without a mama. Which seems to be easy for you because there is no decision I would make that would ever knowingly leave my child without me. I ain't going to jail for nobody because my children aren't going to be sitting there wondering where I am. And you think, oh, well, they don't know. Kids know. I don't care how small your son is. He knows there's a disruption in his atmosphere. He knows if there's anger. He knows if there's an issue pending where you're not doing well, or his grandmother's not doing well, or he's not doing well, because the force around him has changed. And so if you're going to be the kind of mama that raises a child who's going to go out and conquer the world instead of being beaten down by the world, then every once in a while, all of that talk, you're going to have to pull that way back. You're going to have to be a little bit humble. Trust me. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I sit in this position, but I realize that it is not a position of power for me to abuse. So if somebody steps in front of me in the grocery store, you know what I do? I move back so they can get their grocery cart in front of me. Do I challenge them? No. Because why? What do I gain from it? Got a whole lot to lose. When you realize what you have to lose by all that popping off at the mouth, when it becomes cognizant to you that by doing that, I threaten the welfare and safety of my son, I leave him without a mama. Man, these streets too wild for the stuff you trying to pull. You pulling it on your mama, but pull that out in the street. I watched somebody pull a gun and put it to a FedEx driver's head in traffic due to a traffic offense. People shooting each other for cutting them off in traffic, popping off at the mouth. You might want to regulate that because it's happening daily. So when you think, I don't want to hear all this, maybe it's something you need to hear. Maybe it's something you need to hear. Because the last thing you want is something to happen to you and your mama has to raise a child that she didn't ask to even have. I know she loves her grandbaby. That's why she's crying. Because she knows you grown, but she loves that grandbaby. But she shouldn't have to raise them because you do something stupid. I talked to way too many grandmothers who, instead of living their lives, going on cruises, hanging out with their girls, living the best life that they can live after they have worked all these years and raised their kids, now they're stuck raising grandchildren because their children didn't know how to act. And you are the very example of that. So I'm sorry you don't want to hear it, but I'm going to tell you, I feel like this is my job because I feel like I'm not just talking to you. I'm talking to the mother of that child who, when you mess up, you leave him abandoned. When you mess up, you don't know who's taking care of him. When you mess up, then that baby's out there wondering where his mama is. Are we clear?
Yes.
And I really don't think you're a good candidate for probation. Because if you're going to pop off like that to me, I don't want to put you on probation and have some poor probation officer who has way too many cases already having to deal with your attitude because you don't feel like doing what I told you to do. Probation is a privilege. It means I am keeping track of you, but I'm allowing you to be on the outside because you can still live your life, as opposed to what I really can do, which is put you in jail until I'm satisfied. And then let you out and be done with the case. I don't have to worry about somebody having to monitor you. I don't have to worry about somebody having to deal with your attitude or your bad day. Because no matter what day I have, I don't bring it to work. Nobody deserves my bad day. And nobody deserves yours. Nobody did it but you. Every decision you make contributes to whether you have a good day or a bad day. But that ain't nobody else's fault. Everything that happened between you and your mother was choices you made. That's nobody else's fault, not mine or anybody else's. And I'll be doggone if I'm going to sit here and listen to you flip off at me like I'm the problem, like I'm the reason you're here. Personal responsibility. Once you start realizing that the choices you make are why you end up where you end up, then you'll make better choices so you can end up in a better place. I'm so clear on that. I see it all day, every day. I recognize it in myself. When you make better choices, you end up in a better place. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So all that popping off at the mouth at 20 years old, like you got the wisdom of somebody who has lived, you barely there. You are barely there. You don't even know. And if you continue along this path, you don't even know what's coming at you. You're barely there. So I suggest for the strong support that your mother is to you, I suggest that you not abuse her. Because she actually wants to have no violent or harassing contact with you instead of no contact. And you know what? No contact would hurt her heart because she loves her grandbaby, but no contact would devastate you because you're going to need her. In the next 12 months, you're going to need your mama. I know it. I can predict it. I can already tell. You're going to need her more than she needs you. She's trying to save you. But I'm thinking maybe if I did no contact, that would give her a break. She wouldn't have to worry about sending you no money. She wouldn't have to worry about no panic call. She wouldn't have to worry about you coming back to show up to leave the child with her because you got something to do and you don't have nobody to keep your baby. She wouldn't have to worry about any of that. She could go to the gym and work out. She could sleep late on Saturdays and Sundays. She could go and do things for herself. That money that she would be sending you, she could go on a cruise. She could do all of those things for herself instead of worrying about you for the next 12 months. That would be a vacation for her.
Okay.
All right. You're going to learn. You still in that little mode of my little feelings hurt. So I got to show everybody this ain't hurting me. But you're going to learn. All right. I still don't feel like she's a probation candidate. I really don't. And a probation candidate, I mean, like, is she live in Clayton County?
From my understanding, she does
What?
does not, Your Honor.
Where she live?
Ms. Walker,
Yes. Yes.
where do you live, Ms. Walker?
South Fulton.
So then I'm going to have issues where she can't get to court because she don't have transportation and she got a baby.
I do
She's going to
have
be telling up.
transportation.
All right, then I better never hear that as an excuse. Miss Chang, whoever's the probation officer who supervises her, yeah, I better never hear that as an excuse. We're clear? Miss Walker, I will accept, because, they direct us in judge school to always give you an opportunity to apologize when you have been contemptuous in court. Instead of giving you that straight 20 days, I could give you the opportunity to apologize. You have come back and apologized. I still don't think you mean it, but I'm gonna let you have that. But you're gonna do this. I still don't feel like you're a probation candidate, but I'm gonna try it. And only for your mama interceding on your behalf. If it wasn't for your mama, you'd be going back to jail. But yeah, I'm gonna try it. But the first mess up, all of this is gonna come back. First mess up, first probation revocation, first time you come back before me, all of this is gonna come back to my mind. It is. So I'm going to accept your plea of guilty to counts 1 and 5. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 2 days. Balance credit for time served. Balance will be probated for you to pay a fine in the amount of $300. That's going to be $444 with the surcharges. So that's the total. You're to take a family violence intervention program course. That's 24 sessions. And you have to attend all 24 sessions. If you miss more than 3, they'll make you start the class all over again. And you have to be able to finish all 24 sessions within the 12 months. You'll do 40 hours of community service. You'll have no violent or harassing contact with Miss Dominique Trimble. And the only reason that's there is because she loves her grandbaby. And that's my gift to her for putting up with your foolishness. Counts 2, 3, and 4 will merge with count 1. Count 5 will be 12 months probation to run concurrent with count 1, and no violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. All right. So now, Miss Walker, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with the probation intake expert. Miss Chang, who is now doing intake? Is Mr. Carmichael still doing intake until a certain date? Mr. Carmichael, you still doing intake until a certain date?
I'm still here, Your Honor. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Carmichael. I knew y'all weren't gonna leave me by myself. All right. So, Miss Walker, I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with Mr. Carmichael. Now, I want you to. Where'd she go?
She's still on the Zoom, Your
Oh,
Honor.
there
She
she is.
just
I want you to ask him all the questions that you need to ask him that involve your situation. So if you got a job that you work crazy hours, ask about those things so that he can give you instructions as to all of those things. And the best way to get rearrested is to not show up for probation. So please make sure that you attend all of your probation reports as directed. If there's trouble doing any of the other things with probation, share that with your probation officer. All right. So let's see. Did she go into the breakout room? Bless her heart. I'm gonna pray for you, Miss Trimble, that you don't have to end up raising your grandson and that things work out better.
Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Collier and Davenport. All right, Mr. Williams, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Robert Dontrell Williams III. You were before this court on 2023 CR 00341. You were convicted of improper backing or reckless driving on 16th day of August 2023, and you were sentenced to 12 months on probation. You have 9 months and 3 days remaining on probation. Your sentence was not told. It says that you tested positive for alcohol on October 27th, 2023. Mr. Williams, what's going on, sir?
Honestly, it's ignorance. I didn't know that I couldn't have a beer at home. I'm gonna just be honest with you. But
Okay, so I have memorized this part of my speech. So when I say you're to have no alcohol or illicit drugs during the course of your probation, because I say it that way the same way every time, because I memorized it. So you thought when I said no alcohol during the course of your probation, that meant no alcohol unless I'm having a beer at home.
ignorance. I don't have any other explanation, honestly.
I'm gonna end up going to jail because Jay just don't listen. Mr. Austin, what are you recommending in this case?
For Mr. Roberts, he is current on all other conditions of probation. This was his first testing positive. The tests before that have been negative. I did explain to Mr. Williams the consequences of going forward if he tests positive. My recommendation at this time is he continue with the treatment classes that he's already taken and to be tested frequently, every report going forward.
So Mr. Williams is already in classes?
Yes, Your Honor. He had to do classes based off his recommendation of his evaluation.
Yeah.
So Mr. Williams, that means they think that you have a problem with alcohol.
No, I mean, what is the risk management?
And
I had that in Tulsa. I didn't even know I had AA meetings.
Mr. Williams, stop talking.
No, I'm
Because
serious.
what I need you to do is go back and read your paperwork. I need you not to keep talking and getting yourself deeper and deeper in trouble and then read your paperwork. I don't know what you coming in and giving Mr. Austin. He says you current, but you don't seem to know what you were even sentenced to do.
The reason why I said I wasn't sure because I would have already started them.
Look at your paperwork. You know what? The quickest way to get somebody hemmed up is write it down. Here, I'm going to give you everything I need you to know. Read this. And you know what they're going to come back and say? Well, see, what had happened was, Judge, I really wasn't aware I was supposed to do that. Why not? Because I wrote it down. Because not only do I say it, you get the paperwork.
I'll make sure Mr. Williams is
I
aware.
mean, it help him go over it with him. I know there's some legal words in there. Explain what it is he needs to know. But Mr. Williams, you sheer just not reading, you gonna end up messing yourself up, sir.
No, you won't. I know how to take care of it.
Okay. I hope that don't mean you going to one of them herbal stores and talking about give me something to, make my chest clean,
No, that means I'm gonna fly straight and get this stuff over with.
please. So I have you, Mr. Austin seems to think you worth the risk. So I'll return you to probation.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, so sir, I have that you're going to return to probation. You're going to complete your treatment classes, and you're going to test for substances and all of the terms and conditions of probation, and you're going to test for substances in each report. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right. All right, so 13th day of November. All right, sir. You're free to go at this time. Just make sure that you do what you're supposed to do.
Yes, ma'am, I am. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Your Honor. You want me to give Mr. Knight to about lunchtime to see if that paperwork comes over?
Yeah, and that way, when we come on for the 1 p.m., if you want to log in, then you can tell me what the status is.
All right, Your Honor. That is all I have in here, and that's all present as of what time? 10:15, Your Honor. That is it.
All right. So anybody else who was not present, who was on that list, is subject to an arrest warrant. Let's make sure I looked at everybody.
All right, and I'll be sending those over to you here momentarily.
All right. Thank you. All right. Court is adjourned.
Yes, Ms.
Judge.
Farrell, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I just got another email from Florio, and he said that can we reset because he have not been released from Fulton County Superior Court.
Okay.
Let's do 2 weeks, perhaps.
Yeah, that's fine.
2 weeks on the Tuesday, 2 weeks from today.
Mr. Wadley, you'll be back
Yes, ma'am.
2 weeks from now on Tuesday. Please speak with Mr. Florio so that if anything changes, then you don't have to worry about coming. He'll let us know beforehand. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your patience.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. So, Mr. Barber, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Barber, you can put your hand down. I'm sorry. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Tommy James Barber. Lister Holt and Dennis is representing you. Miss Chelsea Hunt is your attorney. And you're charged with criminal trespass on case 2023 CR 09493. My understanding is you're entering a plea of nolo. By entering a plea of nolo, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Mr. Barber?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On September the 18th of 2023, while an officer was on patrol of the airport MARTA station, 1 Atlanta Airport Road, where the incident occurred in Clayton County, the officer observed a male who was determined to be Mr. Barber asleep on the train. At that time, he asked, Mr. Barber to present his breeze card and valid identification. He did not provide the correct information, but was given a 12-hour suspension to leave the property. He refused to leave the property. And he said, just take me to jail. So they took Mr. Barber to jail. The state is recommending 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for the time served. The balance to be suspended, and only that Mr. Barber comply with the MARTA suspension, and that MARTA suspension is, let's see. So he's able to resume on the 19th, which already passed. Wait, he's able, so he, let me go back, I'm sorry. Okay, so he's able to return writing on December the 3rd of 2023.
Ms. Hahn?
Your Honor, I was discussing with Mr. Barber. I guess we were thinking that the suspension might have been shorter, but it is December. Mr. Barber takes the train to work. That's his only form of transportation. I understand that that's, I guess, strictly through MARTA, but I mean, he did fall asleep on the train and he accepts responsibility.
Okay, Ms. Hahn, you gotta keep your voice up
Sorry,
because
Your Honor, I'm so sorry.
I mean, you pleading his case and I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Excuse me. All right, so Mr. Barber, I'm going to accept your plea of nolo to criminal trespass. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served, balance suspended as long as you comply with the MARTA suspension. You're not to ride any of the MARTA vehicles, trains, or buses between now and December 3rd of 2023. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Barber, you can go back with the sheriff's office, okay?
Ma'am, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Will I be released today?
Yes, if there's nothing else holding you, you should be. Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hahn, what's your next case? It's not Durden, that's Mr. White.
Love, I think, is the next mail.
Ray Love, please. Mr. Love, you're before the court on 2023 CR 09495. Please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yeah.
All right, you can put your hand down, Mr. Love. You're before the court for a criminal trespass. You're represented by Ms. Chelsea Hahn of the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. Ms. Hahn indicates that you're entering a plea of guilty. By entering this plea of guilty, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And Mr. Love, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
She said you understand what she just said.
Yeah.
Okay, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On September 19th of 2023, while on duty of the Atlanta Hartsfield Airport food court, an officer observed a male that he recognized, the defendant, Mr. Ray, because of the several prior encounters. Mr. Love was giving a trespass warning previously for March 22nd of 2023 for soliciting passengers in the food court. And the officer then took Mr. Love into custody, and the state is recommending 12 months to serve 30 days. The balance to be suspended upon a do not return to the airport, even if he was ticketed, Your Honor. So the state is requesting that he does not return to the airport.
All right, Ms. Hahn.
Your Honor, Mr. Love has been struggling with housing, as I guess many of the cases where people end up at the airport. But I did discuss the do not return part of his sentence, and he understands that he will not be returning to the airport at least for the next 12 months.
All right, so Mr. Love, I'm going to accept your plea of guilty. I'll send you to 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for time served, balance suspended, as long as you do not go back to Hartsfield, Jackson, Atlanta International Airport. Even if you have a ticket for travel, you need to fly out of Birmingham. You got me?
Yeah, so I'm going home?
You got to fly out of Birmingham for the next year.
You're going, yeah,
I got credit for the time served?
yes, sir.
So I'm going home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, now, Mr. Love, stay out of the airport.
All right.
All right, sir. Going home.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Love. Come up a little closer, Miss Langford. All right, you unmute the unmute the courtroom.
Yes, Your Honor. We're ready.
All right, Miss Langford, you're before the court on 2023 CR 09484. Lakia Langford. You're before the court for simple battery, and you're represented by Miss Hahn, who's your attorney. Raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true? Courtroom has to unmute.
Sorry, Your Honor.
All right.
Yes.
Do you understand? Are you going to tell the truth for me, Miss Langford?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. So you're entering a plea of nolo. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Ms. Langford?
Yes.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On September the 20th of 2023, Deputy for the Clayton County Sheriff's Office was assigned to investigate a simple battery that occurred at 9157 Terra Boulevard in Clayton County, Georgia. At that time, the officer spoke with the Officer Banks, who advised that while feeding in one of the housing units, at that time, the inmate, Miss Latasha Langford, spit on Officer Banks. And they were doing the situation. The state is recommending 12 months to serve, 30 days, and the balance be suspended, Your Honor.
All right, is she in for something else?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Langford, I'm going to accept your plea of nolo. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 30 days, balance suspended, as long as you have no new violations of the law. And as long as you promise me you're not going to be spitting on anybody.
Yeah, so Your Honor, I just want to also put on the record that I do have some concerns, but they don't rise to the level of competency.
Okay.
Miss Langford, she has been in custody since 2022. She does have these other pending charges, but
they're not in state court, are they?
They are not, Your Honor. So I did explain to Ms. Langford that this court would not be able to address those charges.
What they are.
Ms. Langford, so you got the upstairs judge and the downstairs judge. I'm the downstairs judge, and so I can't do anything with the upstairs judge's charges. But this case, we're going to get rid of the misdemeanor, but you still have charges upstairs, okay?
Yeah, but I thought they told me it was a misdemeanor, but I don't know.
Speak up a little bit for me.
I thought they told me that it was a misdemeanor. It was criminal trespass and theft by receiving at the airport and awfully baggage remover.
Okay, I don't know about the stuff upstairs. You may be able to work that out once your case is opened up there, or once you get before a judge up there. But this is what I have down here. And so we're going to go ahead and resolve this today.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no more spitting, Miss Langford, okay?
So could you give me, because since I already been here for a while, I've been here for like ever since 12/27 of 2022, and now it's going on December of another year, almost 2 years I've been here.
Yes, ma'am. I don't know what's going on with that. Miss Hahn?
Forrest Arbun.
Your Honor, I mean, my understanding, and this may just be my own personal misunderstanding, but I understand that now that she's out on her state court charges, that a motion to modify her bond and release her, I would assume would have to be done by a superior court judge, I thought.
But I mean, it's not like she committed a crime of sincere violence. Did she do one of the 7?
No, she didn't. No, I mean, she's being held on just a criminal trespass and a theft by receiving in superior court, and that's it. And she's been here for a year.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
I agree.
Which court is she in front of?
I can look. Oh.
Yeah, tell me which judge.
Your Honor, if you can see if you can get that thrown out too, if you can work on my behalf, because I have been on very good behavior, you know, in spite of that right there. Really decent, very respectful of officers and the inmates.
Oh, it's still, Your Honor, well, hold on. Scott, Judge Scott.
Okay.
You think, Your Honor, you think there's any way that you can be able to contact him today?
I'm sending the judge a message right now.
Okay, and if he let you handle that today, would you do it if I wait a little longer?
I can't hear what she's saying, Miss Hahn.
If he let you handle that today, would you do it?
Yeah, if they wanted me to do it, I would do it. That's no problem.
Okay.
But I'm sending it to her so she'll know.
Okay, will you ask her if you can handle that today? If it's not
okay, I will.
Okay, so you dropped the other one.
Oh, she's up here.
Okay.
But she can still hear you.
Okay, so you dropped the other one for criminal commit for super battery, right?
No.
Yeah, let me go ahead and send this email, okay? And see if I can get a response in a few minutes.
Okay, and if that's the case, I do time served. I go home today.
I'm gonna work on it, ma'am. I can only do so much, but let me contact the judge upstairs.
Or is our bond at least for sign myself out of signature bond?
What's it been, about 11 months, Miss Hahn? What's she doing, about 11 months?
Yeah, Your Honor. I mean, it'll be almost 11 months. She'll be in since.
2 years. This another
You've
year.
been in into 2022.
No, 12/22 of last year's December coming on to another year, and this right here is October this year, so it'll be another year. 2 years. I mean, year.
Okay, so you got in December of 2022.
Yeah.
So December 2023 would make 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just pulled the bag over the rail and they took me to the Central Center Police Department. As soon as I pulled it over, the officer grabbed
Well,
my hand.
hold on. Don't talk about your case. Hold on.
All right, I sent it to Judge Scott and we'll see what she responds. Okay. All right. Ms. Langford, if you just go back with the sheriff's office, if we got to bring you back up, that's fine with me. But I did send it to to Judge Scott. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Did you have anything else, Ms. Hahn?
I'm sorry. No, so you're done with her. So Judge Hay, so
Yeah, Mr. White, on the calendar, Ms. Aldridge. What we doing with Ms. Marinelle Aldridge?
Ready to enter a plea, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Aldridge.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So do we need Ms. Tolles anymore?
We don't need Ms. Tolles, that's what she does. No, Your Honor, we don't.
All right. So Ms. Tolles, you're free to go if another court needs you. Thank you. All right. So Ms. Aldridge, raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Ms. Aldridge, you're before the court on 2021 CR 04484, Mary Nell Aldridge, for driving under the influence, count 1 per se, driving under the influence less safe, count 2, an open container violation. You're represented by Attorney Justin White of the law firm of Lister Holton Dennis. But Mr. White, what is your client plea to the offense before the offenses before the court?
Your Honor, she'll be pleading guilty to the DUI per se, as well as the open container, Your Honor.
All right. By entering a plea of guilty to counts 1 and 3, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Your Honor, Mr. White, I don't think you said, which one were you taking?
He said driving under the influence per se and open container.
Oh, no, Your Honor, the offer.
Yes, Your Honor. We had discussed multiple different offers in the case. Ms. Aldridge has decided to take the offer that was $800 fine, 60 hours community service with the 1 AA meeting per week.
Okay.
I emailed you something, lawyer. I don't know if you got it already, but I did go to a DUI and DDS school. I don't know how much of a difference would that make in the offer you all are trying to give me.
Okay, I thought y'all talked about this.
All right.
Yes, we did, but I don't know if you got the email quick enough. Yeah, I did a DUI and DDS at
It's not for me. It's not going to matter. It's for me anyway. Thank you. Okay. All right, Your Honor. On December the 4th of 2020, during a road safety check, where the officer, was on. Let me probably check out. I had that safety sheet already. Norman Drive and Park Place, where the incident occurred in Clayton County. He came into contact with a motor vehicle being operated by the defendant, Miss Mary Aldridge, where he took her driver's license and confirmed through a GCIC check. At that time, the officer observed a strong odor of alcohol coming from her breath, and then observed an open wine bottle in the cup holder. Upon stepping, the officer asked the defendant to step out of the vehicle. Upon stepping out of the vehicle, she lost her balance. The officer asked her how much she had been drinking. She said a few glasses of Chardonnay, but she was not drunk. And advised that she was on her way to pick up her children. The officer asked the defendant about conducting the field sobriety test, in which she agreed. At that time, he performed the HGN the walk and turn, and the one leg stand, to which the defendant did not perform well on either of those tests. At that time, the officer took the defendant into custody, read her the implied consent. She consented to giving her blood. Blood was drawn. And it was 0.121. Now the blood alcohol content was determined to be 0.121. So for count one, the state is recommending 12 months probation, a $800 fine, 60 hours of community service, a risk reduction program, drug and alcohol evaluation and follow-up treatment, no drugs or alcohol, random screening and testing, and 1 AA meeting per week. Count two would merge, count three be a $200 fine.
All right. Mr. White?
Your Honor, that is what we negotiated. The only thing I would add is that due to the extra conditions added on to the DUI, if we could just suspend the open container fine. Your Honor, Ms. Aldridge is taking care of her kids. She's going back and forth between Georgia and Miami to help to work, and she does not have stable housing, completely stable housing at the moment. So we just ask at least, very least, that fine be suspended, Your Honor.
All right, so any objections from the state?
The suspension of the fine, Your Honor?
The $200 fine.
Well, yes, because we got down to these numbers as a part of the negotiation. So I do, but
All right, so that'll be in the, okay. So, Mr. White, the one consolation is, the number 3 won't have the additional, DUI fines with it. Sometimes if you say $1,000 on the DUI, you know how the fines are enhanced. So, the $200 will be at the regular rate.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Ms. Aldridge.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm gonna explain everything, and if you have questions after I finish, then you can ask. All right, so 12 months probation, a fine in the amount of $800. It's gonna be a lot more than that because of the surcharges. I have the regular surcharges, but I don't have the DUI enhanced surcharges. But there's more if it's a DUI.
Charges? It's crazy. I don't even have nowhere to stay. Like, well, I know it's not y'all problem, but go ahead, I guess.
All right, well,
I can do about it.
Let me get through this and we can talk about some stuff, okay? All right, so 60 hours of community service. We can modify it to change, I guess, a portion of the fines and fees into community service is my understanding. But let's see if you do the first 60 hours of community service. A risk reduction program, a substance abuse evaluation, and any treatment that may be ordered. No alcohol or illicit drugs during the course of your probation, and you're subject to random screens for alcohol and drugs, and 1 AA meeting per week. Now, I did understand you to say that you had taken some courses, so present those to probation. If they have any questions about whether they're allowable, they'll bring them to me and ask about whether I'm willing to accept them, but go ahead and present them to your probation officer. Also, to run concurrent with that, meaning at the same time as, is a fine, an additional fine in the amount of $200. So let's talk about it. So where are you? Okay, breathe. So are you here in Georgia or are you in Miami? What's going on?
I'm back and forth. I come. Yeah, because I don't really have a stable place to stay, so I have some work here. So I come here and work, and then I'll be back and forth with my mom and my kids. So, I mean, like, this is like years later, and it's coming to a point, it's at a point now that it has finally surfaced that I'm going through all these transitions and got all this going on. So it's really inconvenience and messing up the quality of life for me right now, like the meetings and all this. And so it's like, and then y'all got like, I'm a drunk or alcoholic, like these classes, like that's, I mean, I guess it's how it goes, but that's crazy. It wasn't like I was a radical driver or anything. I voluntarily went that way because I was fine going to get
Oh,
someone to go back home. But blood thing. I mean, the blood says different, but I get that
so
part. But I mean, it's just a lot right now. It's just a lot, and I
Miss
don't want to
Aldridge,
violate being the fact that I'm here and I'm there. It's just a
hold on,
lot right
Miss
now.
Aldridge, stop. Okay, first of all, a lot of people think that they're fine when they've had some drinks, but a blood alcohol level of 1.21, and you don't look to be that big. So that's a lot of alcohol in your system. And so no, you weren't fine. And just imagine if you had
Yeah,
picked
because
up,
I had to move. They sold our house while I was in there, and we had
no,
nowhere to go.
ma'am,
So
ma'am,
I've been
I'm
going
not
through this
talking
for
about your
years.
house. I'm talking about your blood alcohol level. Listen to me.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
gonna
saying
get to
I was
that.
going to the store to get wine to go back to cope with my own self. It wasn't like I'm just driving the street drunk and erratically. You know what I'm saying? So all these classes, and it's just like crazy.
So, Miss Aldridge, you're still not accepting responsibility because you're saying
I
I was
accept
drunk
it.
and erratically. You got somebody's attention.
They stopped every car. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't feel like I was like no kind of way. So I just went through, but
You
I get
saying
it.
with a
The numbers
point,
don't lie.
well, I'm just saying a 0.121 blood alcohol level, that's almost twice the legal limit. So you was just saying, because I was all right, I'm all right though. I could do it. And this is just causing me all kind of problems. Okay, let's get to
No,
what do you
I'm
do
not
for a
saying it like that. I'm not saying it
okay,
like
Miss
that, but
Aldridge, what do you do for a living?
I bartend, I be at the Marriott, and also a merchandiser. So I come in town and work with this company, and I'm back out of town. So I'm back and forth. I'm down there with my mom, helping my mom, and then I'm here trying to work to be back and forth to get a place. I don't even have a place, so I don't even know how I'm gonna do all this. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm setting myself up to fail right now. You know what I'm saying? I just want this over, and it's coming years later where my life is category 5 right now. I mean, it's just a lot, but I just want this to be over.
Okay, breathe. Okay, just breathe. All right. So the biggest thing is I understand what the situation is now. But the biggest thing is that you tell your probation officer if you're having difficulties. What I've said is whatever you've done already, they're going to consider that, okay? And if they can accept that, they will. So that'll be some of the stuff already done. The most important part is that you're working around alcohol, so that's kind of scary to me, but you're not to consume any alcohol or illicit drugs during the course of the 12 months. And you're to attend an AA meeting. Now, you keep saying how this is an inconvenience to you and all of that, but ma'am, a blood alcohol level of 0.21, it scares me that you're really not accepting, you're not accepting responsibility. You're not saying, hey, I made a mistake and I'm moving on and things have been rough since then. I get it. You're saying, yeah, I was good. And I stopped and they didn't stop me and I was good to go. I could have made it all the way home with my wine, which tells
I
me
mean, yeah,
that
I had my reasons at that time because we had to move and I had nowhere to go but back to Miami, something I didn't want to do. So I was going through a lot at that moment. You know, our landlord sold our house while we were in it. So it was just like we're homeless now. So I was going through something at that time. It wasn't like I'm just drinking and driving. But I mean, I get things happen. And I gotta, face the consequences right now.
Okay.
And it's just coming up at a time that, isn't good. I understand
Okay. All right. So just I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Carmichael. He's going to explain everything you need to know about probation. If there are any issues with you completing something for probation, then discuss that with Mr. Carmichael. He will help you to make he will help you to have the information necessary to make the decisions you need to make. I do say this though, the quickest way to get rearrested is to not report for probation. So you gotta report, okay? All right, I'm going to put you in the
Okay.
breakout room with Mr. Carmichael. All right. All right. So Aldridge is done. That completes the arraignment calendar. Durden, Andre Denard Durden.
Well, all right. Thanks for joining in, everyone. I appreciate you being here, and stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And by doing so, you'll be notified the next time I upload a new one. Thanks again. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. God bless.